As a person who's had a lifelong fear of socializing, maybe you can relate. I was bullied a lot as a child for being a feminine little boy, and I also felt rejected by my father for that reason. So people scare me a little bit. When I have an event that I feel like I can't get out of because I don't want to disappoint somebody or let somebody down, maybe that's another issue to think about. But yeah, it's always stressful when I have to do something or go somewhere with people. So last weekend I had such an event and I did a little ritual beforehand. I sat down with some quiet and meditative thoughts and candle and a very important item that signifies my ability to manifest. I attempted to cast a spell, do some witchcraft or prayer or focused energy for manifesting myself a pleasant evening, a comfortable, not just comfortable, but enjoyable evening out. So what you're seeing around me are videos of that event that I did attend. Beforehand, I was ready. I was prepared mentally, and I just wanted to let you know, since last week's video was about the preparation, um, tell you how it went. And honestly, it went much better than I think it would have if I hadn't mentally prepared, cast that spell, or done that meditation time, or prayed. We all know it's all the same. All these words, all these names for it. There's only one universal energy, the universe or source or God or whatever you call it. It's all the same. There's one source where we get our power, and it doesn't matter what you call it. That's the source where our power comes from, and I feel like I was able to access a little bit of my power. I'm all about breaking free, getting in touch with my higher self, and manifesting a better life because I know I have the power to do so. I've just told myself through the years that I'm powerless, that I'm helpless, that these things happened to me in my past that were bad. And so, because of that, I'm never going to be happy or normal or be able to do things like normal people do. So, if you can relate to that and you are desiring to manifest your power and change your story, do you hear the helicopter or whatever that is, airplane, sounds of the city? I guess I just have to get used to it. Yeah, join me if you want to come along on this trip of self empowerment. There's so much we can do, there's so much to learn, there's so many practices that we can make part of our daily routine. I have started already, and a couple videos back will talk about those things. But the event, I went to the event with my housemate Javier. He drove. He's very, very social. So usually he is very comfortable in social situations, but I did feel from him a little energy that he was a little uncomfortable, maybe because he's comfortable when he feels equal, but because this was a charity event with lots of wealthy people, maybe he felt a little bit like he would be judged. He is Mexican American, and I know he does feel sometimes the discrimination of people who are white or not only white, but people sometimes have an image of Mexican Americans, and they're all judged as being inferior. And so I think that maybe he was feeling a little bit of that. Oh, and I just did the thing. Oh, I've got to stop doing that thing. We're hypnotized. Those little weird hand motions. We've been hypnotized. But, but, so I felt like he was a little uncomfortable. He wasn't completely himself, which was surprising to me because I didn't think of that beforehand. That, even the most confident people that appear to be the most confident people, they have their issues as well. So that was something that was a theme through the evening. I also saw a lot of older people with a lot of cosmetic work. Some of it was not very well done. Actually, if you notice it, it's not well done. If it's undetectable, then yeah, it's mission accomplished. But when you see people with the huge, gigantic lips, um, or the strange-looking faces that just look a little off, to me, it feels like insecurity when I see someone who's clearly had a bunch of stuff done to their face. My mind automatically sees them as a person who's insecure. Um, I had one glass of wine, maybe one and a half, and I don't drink much. So I don't know if the wine contributed to my good feeling, but for some reason that night, I felt very loving toward everyone. I felt very, it felt very loving. It was kind of a magical area because it was like a not a sound stage, but it was an outdoor facade of New York City. That those buildings that you're seeing and all that stuff, it's a facade to look like New York City, so you can shoot videos and film movies and things around here, and it looks like you're in New York City, but you're in the comfort and quiet of Paramount Studios. But um, and what was the point I was talking about? But so I think the magical experience, it was kind of built in because of the surroundings. And maybe the little glass of wine helped too, but I just felt very loving toward everyone. I actually talked to a stranger, and I talked to a couple of people that I had met previously, and it was pretty comfortable. So I definitely think that doing whatever you have to do beforehand does make a difference. Prepares you mentally instead of going into the event, which I've done before at events where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And then the whole time I'm like, and I feel like I'm putting on a facade or putting on a different personality, which is part of me, but not the complete part of me. Whereas here, I felt like my underneath connection to my higher self, which is pure love, was really coming through. And it felt genuine. And it felt really good. At one point, I saw a male, feminine presenting. I don't know if this person identifies as trans or what their pronouns are, but they were very regal, clearly male, but wearing female presenting clothing and with beautiful long hair. And I felt nothing but love. And acceptance and the connection with my younger self, feeling like it must be hard to present yourself in a way that feels good to you and know that so many people are judging you. The same as the a lot of the older people that clearly had a lot of cosmetic work. Just the awareness that underneath it all, they just are trying to be loved and accepted not only by others but by themselves, and that's the reason this work is getting done. So I had a fun time. I had a nice time. I wore my suit that I wear once a year pretty much, and it felt nice. It felt good. I have another event this week. It is Halloween week, and I will be going out on Halloween night, but that's just with with friends, and I don't really have a lot of anxiety about it, but I do have the question as to whether I really want to go because I just love being comfortable at home at night and walking down the street at night with a bunch of noise and crowds and people that are intoxicated. That's always a trigger for me. I hate that word trigger, but it always feels uncomfortable to me. So I guess I will do another meditation that day and really get myself in that place where I can enjoy it. And yeah, so success on the witchcraft. And we will keep going forward. Oh, one interesting story before I say goodbye. There was an auction at this charity event, and at one point, this man who was an older man and not what we would consider traditionally handsome, got up and he was kind of short, and he presented a challenge. He said, "I'm a lawyer, and one of my clients has vowed to match up to $100,000 of donation, and every year we've met it. And let's not let this be the first year that we don't meet the challenge." And with him, he brought this woman, which I guess was his sweetheart, and she was much younger, super skinny, the big inflated lips. Her breasts were huge compared to her very skinny frame, and her dress was just barely covering her nipples. And she was up there with him and holding this $100,000 check right below her breasts. And I think the guy, I don't know, it felt like the guy thought, "Ooh, she's hot and sexy. This will get all the money coming in. She's going to be the draw. She's going to be the one that all the men are going to be like, yeah, I'll donate for this beautiful woman up there." And I feel like it had the opposite effect because it just looked almost clownish or comical. It just looked so strange. And it felt like the vibe was this guy is kind of like trying to manipulate us. Does he really even have a client that wants to match the donation? He didn't seem like someone you would really trust. And the fakeness of his sweetheart, I don't think comes across as like, okay, this is a genuine person that we can really trust. I feel like his plan kind of backfired. He misjudged his power in that situation. And someone bid 10,000, so then he said, "Well, I guess I'll put in the other 90." And yeah, we were leaving, and I said to Javier, "Do you think he's really going to put in the $90,000?" And he said, "No, he's not." He was just saying that to save face in front of everybody, but no, I doubt it. And but they did raise quite a bit of money from a lot of bids, $35,000 bids, $25,000 donations. So they made a decent amount of money. The food itself was a bit disappointing. Um, Buffet style, which isn't bad, but it was, it didn't hold well, and it was all plant based, which I always eat plant based, so It's not like I don't enjoy plant based food, but it wasn't the greatest. But the event itself, yeah, um, it seems like a nice cause, a good cause. And there were some Korean people who were being honored for the dog meat ban, which passed, I guess, in January of this year in Korea. And so that was very cool. There were some emotional moments. They played some video that was very emotional. Seeing the animals be abused is always hard for me to watch. Uh, so that was rough, and I did connect with that. But um, yeah, so success going forward. I need to make at least some type of meditation a daily practice, because I really think it will help in everyday situations, everyday life. So yeah, I highly recommended. Thanks for sticking around if you did. Obviously you did if you're hearing this. I'll tell you how Halloween went after it happens.